Just a mere PR exercise. Everything that was released yesterday was all gibberish. It was all balderdash. It was jobs. The youth are going on the streets because of lack of jobs in this country. We look at the important things that must be done by this government to create jobs, and they haven't considered any of them. For us to have serious jobs in this nation, we must industrialize. There must be an industrial revolution, industrialization. But the capacity, when we talk about energy as a part of the infrastructure that we have in this nation, the electricity that we produce in this country, the cost is so high. We only produce around 3,800 megawatts that cannot support industrialization in this country. Then the president was telling us that by the year 2040, we should be producing only 2,000 megawatts of electricity by the use of nuclear reactants, nuclear energy. Meanwhile, our neighbor here in Ethiopia, in 2025, launched the Grand Ethiopia Renaissance Dam. That dam alone is producing 5,150 megawatts of electricity. Kenya itself is importing 400 megawatts of electricity from Ethiopia. That dam contains 74 billion cubic meters, the capacity, and was constructed at a cost of only 4.8 billion US dollars. Then we are being told that in the year 2040, we are expecting nuclear energy at a cost of 500 billion Kenya shillings. The cost, the housing that we are doing, affordable housing, per year we are spending 120 billion Kenya shillings. In 5 years, we'll be spending 600 billion Kenya shillings. Meanwhile, affordable housing is a private good, and the role of a government is not to participate in provision of private goods, but to facilitate consumption of merit goods like education and health, and also provide public goods like roads. So you wonder, where is our priority? Where did we go wrong as a nation? That what we want to achieve in 2040, Ethiopia has already achieved by 2025. So therefore, when it comes to issue of handling jobs in this nation, we are not ready. Electricity is very costly in this nation as compared to East African countries. So without that proper energy as part of the infrastructure, we cannot create jobs. And because of that, the youth will continue rising, and the youth will continue demanding for what is rightfully theirs. Lastly, on the issue of the public debt, we were being told so many things about public debt. Everything that was mentioned about public debt yesterday is completely out of place, is completely mere statements of puff and misrepresentation of facts. Yesterday, when they were talking about debt, we know very well that our constitution in Article 229, Sub-Article 4, Paragraph G, gives the Auditor General the mandate to audit the public debt. And it states clearly that every 6 months after every financial year, the Auditor General shall audit our public debt. What happens in our nation? The system, the government, does not allow the Auditor General to audit our public debt. What is happening in our public debt? Right now, we have a debt of 12.3 trillion Kenya shillings. Out of that, 6.8 trillion is the domestic debt. Then 5.5 trillion is the foreign debt. Then every year we are paying 2.3 trillion as debt. The problem is not taking a debt. We all know all this from the economists who are here, that a debt is not a problem, but what you do with that debt is what is the problem. We borrow money for personal consumption. We borrow money for recurrent expenditure. We borrow money to loot as a nation. And the moment you loot that money, that debt becomes unproductive debt. The debt that we have is not productive. And therefore, we are not even creating jobs, because the moment we make the debt be productive, then we shall be creating jobs with that debt. A child born today in 2026 is born with a debt of 200,000 Kenya shillings, approximately. Therefore, where are we headed as a nation? Because we are still going to borrow more money just to waste. And therefore, my scorecard on a scale of 0 to 10, I want to say that the government has scored -1. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Babu.